Joining me now is Chuck Todd, moderator of Meet the Press. Good morning, Chuck.
Good morning, Latasha.
So NBC called Nevada race for the Dems, so they keep control of the Senate. But from a Democratic standpoint, why would it be better for them to have a 51-49 majority than the 50-50 split with Harris having the tie-breaking vote?
Well, I could tell you Vice President Harris would like to not have to stay in Washington every time the Senate is done. So the tie-breaking vote issue, right, that's number one. But the real issue is if there's a 50-50 Senate, there is an official power-sharing agreement between the two parties. Some of the committees end up evenly divided. Judiciary is one of them that is. And so literally if one Democrat decides they don't like a nominee, all of a sudden, you know, for that nominee to be brought to the floor, Chuck Schumer has to go through this long rigmarole, and so it just complicates the inner workings of the Senate. If it's a 51-49, then there's no power sharing agreement. Democrats get to have at least a one-vote advantage on every committee, and that just, you know, whether that smooths judicial nominations, administration nominations, even some bill passages and things like that. So the one seat, it matters less in the bigger scheme of some bigger votes, but it matters a lot when it comes to the committee work.
All right. And all eyes are on Georgia yet again. For the second time in 2 years, we're headed to a runoff. So what should the next few weeks look like for Raphael Warnock and Herschel Walker? Would they benefit from Biden and Trump visits, or is it best for them to stay away?
You know, it's really interesting now that it's not for Senate control. I think this becomes a bit more of a Georgia campaign rather than a national campaign. I'm not saying national issues won't be there, but I have a feeling both Warnock and Walker advisors would probably want to make this more about Georgia. I think Walker would like to cling more to Brian Kemp. I think Warnock would like to spend more time talking about what he wants to do and what his plans are in Georgia. So it's interesting, without it being, you know, and I bet we've all been thinking about this, without it being for Senate control, who will have a harder time getting voters out? And I am persuaded that a lot of Republicans I've talked to are very concerned now that this isn't for Senate control, that Herschel Walker is going to have a hard time getting voters out that maybe are uncomfortable with his own character flaws or some of his background. They were willing to overlook it when it was about Senate control. But now it's just about voting for him. And that might be a taller task for him come runoff day.
All right. Thank you so much, Chuck. Meet the Press airs at 10 right after 11 Alive Weekend Morning News.